The DBY-827 heavy turbolaser turret, a crowning achievement of the Galactic Republic's naval technology, was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of power, precision, and resilience during the galaxy-spanning Clone Wars. Mounted aboard the Republic's premier capital ship, the Venator-class Star Destroyer, the DBY-827 was a linchpin of Republic naval superiority, embodying versatility in its design and devastating potential in its execution. This turret was a masterpiece of strategic engineering, tailored to the needs of the Republic Navy as it faced the relentless onslaught of the Separatist alliance. Each Venator-class Star Destroyer carried 8 DBY-827 turrets, grouped in 2 clusters of 4 along the flanks of the bridge superstructure. This arrangement maximized the turret's forward firepower, while allowing them to provide lateral defense, ensuring coverage across critical firing arcs. On certain specialized Venator models, additional ventral turrets expanded their operational versatility, enabling engagement of threats on multiple axes simultaneously. The turret's twin-barrel configuration was compact yet robust, designed to deliver overwhelming firepower without sacrificing maneuverability. Each turret was mounted on an advanced gyroscopic platform that ensured stability and accuracy, even during high-speed maneuvers or under enemy fire. The rotation mechanisms were highly efficient, enabling the turret to pivot a full 360 degrees in under 3 seconds in fast-tracking mode. This agility proved invaluable against the nimble starfighters deployed by the Separatists, allowing the DBY-827 to counter swarming tactics effectively. What set the DBY-827 apart from other turbolaser systems of its era was its adaptability in combat scenarios. The turret featured 2 primary firing modes that could be selected based on the tactical requirements of the moment. In alternating fire mode, the twin barrels fired sequentially, delivering a steady stream of energy blasts. This mode was ideal for sustained engagements, as it allowed the turret to apply continuous pressure on enemy shields, while minimizing energy consumption and heat buildup. When maximum firepower was required, the DBY-827 switched to simultaneous fire mode, unleashing both barrels in a synchronized double volley. The concentrated energy output in this mode could shatter heavily armored ships, breach planetary fortifications, or deliver a decisive blow in fleet engagements. The turrets further offered 7 adjustable power levels, ranging from low-intensity precision strikes capable of disabling key systems to full-power barrages designed to obliterate entire sections of an enemy vessel. The DBY-827's targeting systems were a marvel of precision engineering, integrating advanced sensors and predictive algorithms to ensure accuracy across a range of combat scenarios. In long-range engagements, the turrets could track and destroy distant capital ships with pinpoint precision, exploiting vulnerabilities in their defenses. When battles shifted to close quarters, the turret's fast-tracking capabilities came to the forefront, allowing them to swiftly engage and neutralize smaller, more agile threats. This seamless transition between strategic bombardment and tactical dogfighting demonstrated the turret's versatility and cemented its reputation as a key asset in the Republic's fleet. The energy demands of the DBY-827 were immense, requiring the Venator-class Star Destroyer's advanced hypermatter reactor to channel vast amounts of power to the turrets. During critical engagements, the reactor could prioritize energy output to the DBY-827s, enabling them to fire at maximum capacity. However, this required careful coordination with the ship's command crew, as prolonged high-intensity firing could strain the reactor and potentially compromise other essential systems, such as shields and propulsion. Throughout the Clone Wars, the DBY-827 heavy turbolaser turret played a pivotal role in numerous battles. At the Battle of Christophsis, Venator-class Star Destroyers equipped with DBY-827s shattered a Separatist blockade, opening a corridor for planetary relief operations. Similarly, during the Battle of Coruscant, these turrets proved their worth in defending the capital against a massive droid fleet, engaging both capital ships and starfighter swarms with unrelenting precision. Even after the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire, the legacy of the DBY-827 endured. While the Venator-class was gradually phased out in favor of newer Star Destroyers, the lessons learned from the DBY-827's deployment influenced the design of subsequent turbolaser systems. Its combination of adaptability, precision, and power became a standard that future generations of naval engineers sought to emulate. Beyond its technical capabilities, the The DBY-827 heavy turbo-laser turret came to symbolize the Republic's determination and ingenuity during one of the galaxy's darkest eras. Its blazing salvos were not merely tools of destruction. They were emblems of the Republic's resolve to protect its ideals and its citizens. In the annals of galactic history, the DBY-827 stands as a beacon of hope and a testament to the Republic's technological mastery, its twin barrels blazing brightly against the darkness of war. The AV-7 anti-vehicle artillery cannon served as a versatile and deadly component of the Venator-class Star Destroyer's weaponry, bridging the gap between ground-based artillery and naval firepower. Originally designed as a ground support weapon for the Republic's Grand Army, its inclusion aboard Venators marked an innovative use of adaptable systems in the Republic Navy. Despite its modest origins, the AV-7 proved to be a vital tool in close-quarters ship-to-ship combat, offering a layer of tactical depth that complemented the Venator's more prominent armaments. The AV-7 was first conceptualized as a mobile ground artillery platform, supported by retractable legs and capable of being deployed rapidly in planetary engagements. When adapted for use aboard the Venator-class, these legs were removed, allowing the cannon to be mounted directly onto the ship's artillery decks. This adjustment transformed the AV-7 into a stationary weapon optimized for naval combat, without sacrificing its original destructive capabilities. The cannon's compact design allowed for rows of AV-7s to line the artillery decks of the Venator. Positioned perpendicular to the ship's length, these cannons were oriented to fire broadside at enemy vessels, a tactic rarely employed by other starship classes, but uniquely suited to the Venator's operational flexibility. This arrangement gave the AV-7 a distinct role in fleet engagements, where its high rate of fire and destructive power could turn the tide of battle in close-range skirmishes. The AV-7 anti-vehicle artillery cannon was renowned for its balance of firepower and precision. Operated by a single gunner, the weapon could deliver concentrated volleys against a wide array of targets, from starfighters to capital ships. Its primary role was to engage enemy vessels at short to medium range, where its relatively fast tracking and high rate of fire excelled. Despite its name, the AV-7 was effective beyond its original anti-vehicle designation. When mounted aboard the Venator, it could target critical points on enemy ships, such as shield generators or weapons emplacements, to weaken their overall combat effectiveness. This adaptability made it a valuable asset during the chaotic, close-quarters engagements that were common in the Clone Wars. However, the AV-7's reliance on stored ammunition, rather than direct energy input, introduced a notable vulnerability. The munitions used by the AV-7 were susceptible to detonation if struck by enemy fire, posing a significant risk to the ship's crew and structural integrity. During intense battles, this limitation required careful positioning and tactical coordination to mitigate potential damage from explosions. One of the most striking aspects of the AV-7's deployment aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer was its sheer quantity. Entire artillery decks were dedicated to rows of these cannons, creating a wall of firepower that could overwhelm even the most resilient adversaries. This broadside configuration evoked the naval traditions of ancient maritime warfare, where volleys of cannon fire would rake across enemy ships. The broadside strategy was particularly effective in close engagements, where the Venator's maneuverability allowed it to bring its artillery decks to bear against opposing vessels. Against larger, slower ships, this tactic could inflict crippling damage, neutralizing key systems and leaving the enemy vulnerable to follow-up strikes from the Venator's other weapons, such as the DBY-827 turbolasers or proton torpedoes. While the AV-7 brought considerable firepower to the Venator's arsenal, it was not without its drawbacks. The reliance on physical ammunition created logistical challenges, as the ship needed to maintain a steady supply of ordnance during extended campaigns. Additionally, the vulnerability of the munitions to enemy fire posed a constant risk, particularly in battles where the Venator found itself under heavy attack. Despite these limitations, the AV-7's adaptability and firepower outweighed its vulnerabilities, cementing its role as a key component of the Venator's combat strategy. By carefully managing its deployment and integrating it with the Venator's other weapon systems, Republic commanders were able to maximize the cannon's effectiveness while mitigating its risks. The inclusion of the AV-7 anti-vehicle artillery cannon aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer represented a bold fusion of ground and naval warfare technologies. Its success during the Clone Wars demonstrated the value of adaptable weaponry, capable of serving multiple roles across different theaters of combat. As the war progressed, the AV-7 became a symbol of the Republic's ingenuity and willingness to innovate. Though it was eventually phased out with the rise of the Galactic Empire and the introduction of more specialized naval weapons, the AV-7's legacy endured as a reminder of the Republic's resourcefulness in the face of adversity. Whether engaging droid armies on distant battlefields or holding the line in the vacuum of space, the AV-7 anti-vehicle artillery cannon was a testament to the Republic's commitment to victory, one carefully aimed blast at a time. In the turbulent space battles of the Clone Wars, the Venator-class Star Destroyer relied on a sophisticated network of point defense laser cannons to safeguard its immense frame from nimble and aggressive starfighters. These weapons were indispensable for fending off the swarms of enemy droid fighters deployed by the Confederacy, ensuring the Venator could hold its ground in the chaotic theater of war. The integration of point defense systems into the Venator-class design reflected the Republic's understanding of the evolving nature of naval warfare, where capital ships were increasingly vulnerable to small, agile threats. These cannons became a vital layer of defense, offering precise and rapid fire against incoming threats. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was equipped with at least 52 point defense laser cannons, and in some configurations, this number could rise to 64. These emplacements dotted the ship's hull, positioned to provide overlapping fields of fire that ensured comprehensive coverage of critical areas, such as the bridge, engines, and hangar bays. Each cannon was a swiveling double-barreled turret operated by a single gunner. This compact yet versatile design allowed the turret to rotate both horizontally and vertically, granting it a broad field of fire. This agility made the point defense lasers particularly effective at tracking and engaging fast-moving starfighters or incoming projectiles. The simplicity of the design also meant that these turrets could be rapidly operated, with minimal training required for gunners. The primary purpose of the point defense laser cannons was to provide a reliable countermeasure against starfighters and other small craft that could outmaneuver the Venator's larger weapons systems. The cannons excelled at precision targeting, delivering rapid bursts of energy to intercept enemy ships attempting to exploit the Venator's blind spots or attack its vulnerable areas. In fleet engagements, the point defense network acted as a protective bubble, creating a deadly gauntlet for starfighters attempting to approach the Venator. This defensive screen was especially critical during the deployment or retrieval of the Venator's own starfighter complement, where open hangar bays presented a potential weak point. The versatility of the point defense cannons also extended to their utility in neutralizing incoming ordnance, such as missiles or torpedoes. By targeting these threats before they could impact the ship's shields or hull, the cannons added an additional layer of survivability to the Venator's already formidable defenses. Operating the point defense laser cannons required a balance of reflexes, precision, and situational awareness. Each gunner was trained to anticipate the erratic movements of enemy starfighters, a task that demanded constant vigilance during combat. To hone their skills, gunners often engaged in target practice using mechanical skeet, small, explosive-packed devices launched from the ship. These practice sessions simulated the unpredictability of real engagements, ensuring that gunners could effectively track and destroy their targets under pressure. The efficiency of the point defense system relied heavily on the coordination of its gunners. In battle, communication between the gunners and the ship's tactical officers was critical for identifying high-priority threats and distributing firepower effectively. This coordination was especially important during large-scale engagements, where the sheer number of incoming starfighters could overwhelm even the most disciplined crews. While the point defense laser cannons were highly effective at countering smaller threats, they were not without limitations. The cannons lacked the firepower to significantly damage larger ships, and their effectiveness diminished when faced with overwhelming numbers of enemy fighters. In prolonged engagements, the gunners could become fatigued, reducing the overall efficiency of the system. The success of the point defense laser cannons aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer influenced the design philosophy of subsequent Republic and Imperial ships. The recognition of starfighters as a significant threat led to the widespread adoption of similar systems across the galaxy's navies, ensuring that capital ships could defend themselves against these agile adversaries. Within the context of the Clone Wars, the point defense system was emblematic of the Republic's commitment to adaptability and technological innovation. By integrating these versatile weapons into the Venator's arsenal, the Republic Navy ensured that its flagship could survive and thrive in the unpredictable, fast-paced battles of the era. Even as the Venator-class was eventually phased out in favor of newer designs, the lessons learned from its point defense systems continued to shape the galaxy's naval strategies, cementing their place in the history of space warfare. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, a flagship of the Republic Navy during the Clone Wars, was a formidable presence in space combat, and its armament reflected the ship's role as a versatile warship designed to engage enemies on multiple fronts. Its weapon systems were strategically placed to ensure a comprehensive defense against both capital ship threats and the swarm of starfighters that often accompanied them. Near the front of the ship, the Venator-class featured 2 sets of medium dual turbo lasers, strategically positioned along the hull trench, one on each side. These turbo lasers were a key component of the vessel's offensive firepower, allowing it to engage enemy warships and starfighters at medium range. These turrets were designed for rapid targeting and could unleash a torrent of energy, delivering heavy damage to any enemy ships that ventured too close to the massive warship. The medium turbo lasers provided the Venator with versatile offensive capabilities, particularly in situations where long-range fire from heavier weapons was less effective or too slow to react. Positioned along the hull trench, these turrets were perfectly placed for supporting other fire systems, such as the DBY-827 heavy turbo lasers, and they acted as a valuable asset for both defensive engagements and offensive strikes during fleet combat. 4 heavy proton torpedo launchers also added to the Venator's armament, designed to launch highly explosive and powerful projectiles capable of breaching the defenses of capital ships or space stations. These torpedoes were especially useful in battles involving large enemy warships, as the energy contained in proton torpedoes was more than capable of causing significant damage to shielded or heavily armored vessels. The torpedoes could be fired in rapid succession or strategically targeted for maximum impact. In battle, the ability to deliver heavy torpedoes meant that the Venator could not only take on smaller craft, but also deal a critical blow to more formidable opponents. This capability gave the Venator a dynamic offensive power, enabling it to excel in a variety of combat situations, from skirmishes with fighters to intense battles with enemy capital ships. In addition to its offensive weapons, the Venator was equipped with 6 heavy tractor beam projectors. These devices were critical for manipulating smaller enemy craft, preventing them from escaping or even disabling them for capture or boarding actions. Tractor beams were often used to halt the movements of enemy starfighters or to immobilize damaged ships, making them easier targets for the Venator's turbo lasers or proton torpedoes. The tractor beams could be used in a variety of ways, from simply drawing in enemy ships for destruction to controlling the positioning of starships during a battle, preventing them from evading attacks or executing evasive maneuvers. The versatility of the tractor beam projectors provided the Venator with tactical flexibility, ensuring that no foe could easily escape once they were within its grasp. Certain Venator-class ships were equipped with beam weapons mounted on the ventral docking bays. These beam weapons were powerful enough to deliver concentrated shots capable of destroying entire capital ships, such as the Munificent-class star frigates. The beams fired from these weapons were immensely powerful, capable of piercing through shields and armor with ease. They provided the Venator with a long-range, highly accurate weapon that could engage the toughest enemies, ensuring the ship was well equipped for any battle scenario. The beam weapons could either be traditional laser cannons or self-propelled heavy artillery turbo lasers. Regardless of the specific type of beam, their effectiveness against heavily shielded or armored vessels made them a potent tool in the Venator's arsenal. These beam systems added a layer of offensive capability to the ship, allowing it to deal with capital ships or heavily shielded targets with devastating efficiency. Beyond the primary turbo lasers and specialized weapons, the Venator-class was armed with numerous additional gun emplacements scattered across its hull trenches. These smaller weapons added to the overall firepower of the ship, providing the flexibility to deal with different threats in varying combat scenarios. These emplacements could engage enemy starfighters, intercept missiles, or even target larger craft when necessary. The abundance of gun emplacements provided overlapping fields of fire, ensuring that no section of the Venator was left vulnerable. This array of weapons contributed to the ship's formidable status on the battlefield. as the sheer number of turrets and projectors ensured that it could hold its own against nearly any opponent. The Venator-class Star Destroyer's armament system was designed to handle a variety of threats, from fast-moving starfighters to heavily armored capital ships. Its wide array of weaponry allowed it to engage in multiple combat scenarios simultaneously, making it a versatile and adaptive force in the Republic's fleet. With its combination of medium and light turbo lasers, heavy proton torpedo launchers, tractor beam projectors, and beam weapons, the Venator was equipped to deal with anything thrown its way, from small fighter swarms to massive warships, ensuring its place as one of the most formidable capital ships of the Clone Wars. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, as one of the Republic's primary warships, was engineered to achieve a balance of speed, maneuverability, and firepower. Central to these capabilities was its advanced engine system, which allowed the Venator-class to achieve incredible acceleration and sustain high speeds even in the most demanding situations. With a maximum acceleration of 3,000 Gs and a maximum atmospheric speed of 975 km per hour, the Venator-class was capable of performing extraordinary maneuvers, whether in the vacuum of space or within a planetary atmosphere. The Venator-class Star Destroyer featured a robust and highly efficient engine system, composed of primary, secondary, and tertiary drive engines, each designed for specific purposes. These engines were strategically placed at the aft of the ship, with a total of 8 or 10 ion thrust engines arranged symmetrically on either side. This configuration ensured that the Venator-class could achieve optimal thrust and balance during operations, even under extreme conditions. The primary drive engines, typically the most powerful in the system, were positioned towards the center of the aft section, with 2 engines mounted on the port side and 2 on the starboard side. These engines generated the majority of the thrust, allowing the Venator-class to reach remarkable speeds in both sublight and hyperspace travel. The secondary drive engines, slightly less powerful, were positioned adjacent to the primary engines, again symmetrically on both sides of the ship. These engines provided additional thrust and stability, particularly during combat maneuvers or evasive actions. Finally, the tertiary drive engines, located further aft, supported the ship's overall propulsion system, ensuring that the Venator-class maintained its speed and agility during long voyages or complex tactical movements. The combination of these engines allowed the Venator-class to navigate through space with impressive efficiency, whether navigating asteroid fields, performing high-speed chases, or carrying out intricate combat maneuvers. The operation of the Venator-class's engine system was highly refined, with the ability to control each engine individually from the ship's command bridge. This capability was vital during combat situations, where precise control over the ship's speed and direction could be the difference between success and failure. The engines could be activated, deactivated, and adjusted independently, giving the Venator-class an unprecedented level of control during battles. For example, in the event of a starboard or port engine failure, the remaining engines on the opposite side could compensate, maintaining the ship's velocity and trajectory. If multiple engines failed, such as if 3 engines on the starboard side and 3 on the port side were rendered inoperable, auxiliary power systems would automatically engage to maintain basic propulsion and prevent the ship from becoming immobilized in battle. This redundancy in the system ensured that the Venator-class could continue to operate in critical conditions, even when parts of its engine array were compromised. The engines themselves were complex pieces of machinery, consisting of multiple chambers and rings. These components were coated in blast primer, a protective layer that helped shield the engines from damage during combat and intense energy fluctuations. The reaction that powered these engines was triggered by a pulse generated from the reactor core rods, which created a massive ion thrust that propelled the ship forward at remarkable speeds. Despite their exceptional performance, the Venator-class's ion thrust engines came with their own set of dangers. The ion thrust produced by the engines was highly powerful, generating intense heat and radiation. If personnel were to get too close to the engines without proper protective gear, they risked serious injury. Exposed individuals could suffer severe burns from the high-intensity ion emissions, requiring immediate medical attention. However, the ship's advanced systems were designed to prevent such accidents, with safety measures in place to keep crew members at a safe distance from the engines when they were online. In most cases, the injuries from such exposure could be mitigated if the exposure was brief and the individual was treated promptly. However, the potential risks of working in proximity to the Venator-class's engines were not to be underestimated. Despite these dangers, the engine room was a crucial part of the Venator-class's operational structure, and its crew members were well trained to manage and maintain these engines under combat conditions. The Venator-class Star Destroyer's engine system was a testament to the advanced engineering of the Galactic Republic. With its 8 to 10 ion thrust engines, strategically placed for balance and performance, the Venator-class could achieve impressive acceleration and speed, making it a formidable presence on the battlefield and a swift warship in the vast reaches of space. The ability to individually control each engine allowed for precise maneuvers, ensuring that the Venator-class could react swiftly to threats or change course at a moment's notice. Though powerful and efficient, the engines were not without risk. The potential for injury from the ion thrust required strict safety protocols, but these dangers were mitigated by the ship's advanced design and the training of its crew. In the end, the Venator-class's engine system was a critical component of its overall success, enabling the ship to combine speed, firepower, and precision in a way that few others could match. Whether traveling across the galaxy at light speeds or engaging in fierce space battles, the Venator-class Star Destroyer remained a symbol of the Republic's technological might and military prowess. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, a formidable vessel in the Galactic Republic's fleet, was equipped with an advanced and highly efficient power plant. The reactor systems on board were responsible for driving the ship's myriad functions, from propulsion to weapons systems, making the Venator an unstoppable force in space combat. The ship's power was derived from its massive main reactor, subsidiary reactors, and a network of supplementary systems designed to ensure that the vessel could maintain its combat effectiveness in the most challenging conditions. At the core of the Venator-class Star Destroyer's energy generation system lay its main reactor, a massive and complex power source located along the central line of the ship, just below the prominent bridge tower. This reactor was capable of producing an immense amount of energy, up to 3.6 times 10 to the 24th watts at its peak, enough to power the massive array of weapons, engines, and systems required to engage in large-scale space battles. The main reactor was not just a simple energy source. It was a highly sophisticated system capable of annihilating up to 40,000 tons of fuel per second when operating at full power. This high output was crucial for supporting the ship's extensive arsenal of turbo lasers, ion engines, and shields, enabling the Venator to fight at maximum efficiency for extended periods, without the need for constant recharging or refueling. The energy produced by this reactor was channeled throughout the ship via a series of reactant pumps, ducts, and tubing, which ensured that the reactor's output could be distributed to various systems as needed. To maintain the high power demands, the reactor was supported by an intricate network of cylindrical annihilation reactant silos, which were essential for feeding the reactor's fuel. These silos were positioned fore of the main reactor and played a critical role in ensuring the ship's energy supply remained stable under the most taxing conditions. The continual flow of fuel and energy through the reactor allowed the Venator-class Star Destroyer to remain a powerful force throughout the course of the battle. In addition to the main reactor, the Venator-class was equipped with at least 2 subsidiary reactors, smaller but equally important power plants that provided additional energy when needed. These reactors were positioned strategically around the ship to ensure that the vessel could maintain operational capacity even in the event of damage to the main reactor. One such reactor was located in the left-aft wing of the ship and was surrounded by a cluster of power cells. These subsidiary systems allowed the Venator-class to maintain operational readiness in the face of potential combat damage or system failure, ensuring that essential systems like shields and communications could still function even if the main reactor was incapacitated. The interior of the Venator-class Star Destroyer's reactor compartment was a vast and complex structure designed to manage the immense power produced by the ship's reactors. The reactor compartment was characterized by 3 vertical shafts that stretched upward from the lower levels, surrounded by extensive walkways suspended above the chasm. The walkways converged at a central control station that allowed crew members to monitor and manage the reactor's performance. The control station was equipped with a variety of readouts, levers, and switches that gave operators direct control over the reactor's functions, including fuel intake, energy output, and cooling processes. The reactor compartment was also home to clusters of cylindrical structures that were integrated into the ship's power grid. These structures, coupled with a vast network of tubing and pipes, helped regulate the flow of energy and reactants throughout the ship. However, this highly complex system also represented a vulnerability. Should any of these systems be damaged, whether by enemy fire, mechanical failure, or sabotage, the results could be catastrophic. Damage to the reactor or its associated systems could leave the Venator-class Star Destroyer crippled, unable to operate its key functions, such as weapons or propulsion. In combat situations, this made the ship's reactor compartments particularly vulnerable, requiring vigilant oversight and protection to ensure that the Venator remained a fully operational warship. Complementing the reactors and their support systems were the power cells, which provided additional capacity to the ship's power grid. These cells stored energy that could be tapped into when necessary, particularly during intense combat scenarios where the ship's energy demands might exceed the immediate output of the reactors. Power cells acted as a buffer, ensuring that the Venator could continue to operate at peak performance despite the fluctuating demands of battle. The incorporation of power cells also underscored the Venator-class Star Destroyer's focus on redundancy. By having multiple sources of power, including the main reactor, subsidiary reactors, and power cells, the vessel was prepared for the unexpected. The combination of these systems allowed the Venator to absorb significant damage and continue fighting without having to rely solely on any single power source. This made the Venator-class not only a powerful ship, but a resilient one, capable of surviving the most intense space conflicts. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was a marvel of engineering, and its power plant was central to its role as a dominant force in the Galactic Republic's fleet. The combination of a massive, high-output main reactor, subsidiary reactors, and power cells ensured that the ship could sustain its high-intensity operations without fear of power shortages. The reactors were the beating heart of the Venator, supporting its vast weaponry, defensive systems, and propulsion units, while also providing essential redundancy in case of damage. The complex infrastructure that supported the Venator-class Star Destroyer's reactors was both a testament to its technological superiority and a critical aspect of its vulnerability. In the heat of battle, protecting the ship's power plant was as crucial as any offensive operation. The balance of power, redundancy, and engineering precision made the Venator-class Star Destroyer a truly formidable warship in the galactic theater, a weapon capable of overwhelming any adversary while remaining resilient even in the face of danger. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was not only a powerhouse in combat, but also a marvel of spacefaring engineering, capable of traveling vast distances across the galaxy in a matter of days. Central to this ability was the ship's hyperdrive system, which allowed it to bypass the traditional limitations of sublight travel. With a Class 1.0 main hyperdrive and a Class 15 backup, the Venator-class was equipped to travel across immense distances with remarkable speed and reliability. The heart of the Venator-class Star Destroyer's hyperdrive system was its Class 1.0 main hyperdrive, one of the fastest and most advanced systems available to the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars. This hyperdrive allowed the Venator-class to travel at speeds of up to 60,000 light-years, a range that made the ship capable of responding to galactic threats swiftly and with the element of surprise. A hyperdrive of this class was a key asset for the Republic's military campaigns, enabling fleets to strike deep into enemy territory and retreat just as quickly when needed. The Class 1.0 hyperdrive was thus essential for the Venator to function as a mobile command center in large-scale battles, ensuring its commanders had the reach to confront threats across the galaxy. Located at the rear of the ship, behind the ion drive thrusters, the hyperdrive generator was nestled within the structure that separated the thruster's large fins. This placement not only maximized the ship's engine efficiency, but also contributed to the sleek, angular appearance of the Venator-class, a design that reflected both its function and form. The main inertial compressor, located in front of the generator, played a critical role in the system's operation, ensuring that the ship could transition smoothly from sublight speeds to the faster-than-light velocities of hyperspace. The stern power feeds extended slightly forward from the inertial compressor, linking the systems in a complex network that allowed the Venator-class to move seamlessly through space. In addition to the primary Class 1.0 hyperdrive, the Venator-class was also equipped with a Class 15 backup hyperdrive, ensuring that the ship could continue its mission even if the main system was damaged or destroyed. The Class 15 hyperdrive offered a slower speed than the Class 1.0, but was still capable of providing reliable, long-range travel. This backup system gave the Venator-class an invaluable degree of redundancy, a safety measure that ensured the vessel could still return to friendly space or evacuate a battle if necessary. While the Class 1.0 system was designed for optimal performance, the Class 15 backup offered an alternative route, preserving the vessel's mobility under the most dire circumstances. Whether it was a critical battle where the Venator-class was damaged or a sudden need to evade pursuit, the backup hyperdrive provided the crew with a vital contingency plan. The hyperdrive system was housed within a specialized compartment aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer, a large and cavernous chamber that resembled the reactor rooms in terms of design. The hyperdrive room was a vast space, with walkways suspended at varying levels above a deep chasm. These walkways provided the engineers and technicians with access to the various components of the hyperdrive system, where they could monitor and adjust the system's performance. The intricate layout of the chamber featured 4 tall columns that stretched from the floor to the ceiling, adding both structural support and an imposing sense of scale to the room. In the event of severe damage to the system or malfunction, these columns and the entire hyperdrive apparatus were vulnerable. The hyperdrive room was a delicate balance of high technology and risk. Even a minor failure in the components could disable the Venator-class, leaving it stranded in deep space. If damaged by enemy fire, the components within the hyperdrive room could be knocked loose, potentially disabling the hyperdrive system and leaving the ship vulnerable to attack. This vulnerability meant that the Venator-class required constant vigilance and protection from enemy forces, especially during hyperspace transitions or battles in which the ship's mobility was critical. Despite its powerful Class 1.0 hyperdrive, the ship's reliance on these systems meant that any failure could leave it stranded at the mercy of the enemy. The hyperdrive system of the Venator-class Star Destroyer was a key component of its design, enabling the ship to traverse the vast distances of the galaxy with unparalleled speed. The Class 1.0 main hyperdrive provided the ship with rapid, long-range travel, while the Class 15 backup hyperdrive ensured redundancy and reliability in the face of damage or emergency. Together, these systems allowed the Venator-class to dominate the galactic battlefield with its speed and mobility. Yet, despite its impressive capabilities, the Venator-class was not without its vulnerabilities. The complex network of systems that powered the ship's hyperdrive could be damaged or destroyed in battle, leaving the Venator stranded and exposed. This made the hyperdrive room an essential, yet potentially fragile part of the warship, highlighting the ever-present balance between the ship's offensive and defensive capabilities and its underlying infrastructure. In the end, the Venator-class Star Destroyer's hyperdrive system was both a critical strength and a significant risk, ensuring its place as a formidable force in the galactic conflict. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, one of the most iconic ships of the Clone Wars era, was not only a formidable battleship, but also a highly efficient carrier. Its expansive hangar space played a key role in its operational versatility, enabling it to deploy starships, ground forces, and heavy vehicles with remarkable precision. As the war progressed, however, this hangar space underwent several modifications to better suit the changing needs of the Republic and its military tactics. In the early stages of the Clone Wars, the Venator-class featured an expansive hangar located in the forward section of the vessel. This hangar stretched approximately 0.5 kilometers along the length of the ship, providing ample space for starships and other vehicles. The central passage was flanked by starship bays on either side, allowing for a smooth flow of traffic. These bays were accessible through large dorsal doors, which opened up to release the ships into the void of space. At the bow of the ship, the hangar housed a set of hyperspace transport rings, crucial for deploying the Republic's starfighters and support ships over long distances. These rings allowed for the rapid transfer of smaller ships, such as ARC-170 starfighters and V-wing starfighters, to the front lines. toward the aft of the passage, special floor-mounted doors opened to provide docking space for Republic frigates or for the launching of ground assault craft. At the aft of the central hangar passage, a raised command station provided oversight and control over hangar operations. This station allowed for real-time monitoring of incoming and outgoing vessels, ensuring the smooth deployment of craft in line with the Venator's tactical objectives. The command station was strategically placed to ensure that the ship's crew could maintain awareness of starfighter movements, fighter escorts, and ground vehicles. With the combination of centralized control and an advanced tactical system, the Venator could easily coordinate operations on multiple fronts, whether in space combat or planetary assaults. As the Clone Wars continued, the Venator-class Star Destroyer was refitted to accommodate the growing need for enhanced firepower. Some modifications were made to the hangar area, with certain versions of the Venator-class featuring smaller, more compact access doors on the dorsal side of the ship. These changes were made to increase the vessel's durability and combat efficiency by reducing vulnerability to enemy attacks while still allowing access to the hangar for deploying fighters and other spacecraft. In later versions of the ship, the ventral access was eliminated entirely, and the space that previously connected to the hangar was repurposed for additional weapon systems, such as built-in beam weapons and defensive structures. This redesign also removed the independent starfighter docking bays on the port and starboard sides of the ship, instead connecting the two sections with an internal passage. This change streamlined the design, making it more combat effective, but slightly reduced the ship's capacity for deploying vehicles. By the end of the Clone Wars, the Venator-class Star Destroyer had undergone several changes that altered its hangar layout. The central hangar passage was compacted, but it still provided enough room for the deployment of starfighters, shuttles, and ground troops. Smaller internal passageways replaced the old independent hangar bays, enabling more efficient access between different parts of the hangar. The new hangar configuration allowed for more rapid deployment of starfighters, especially during high-intensity operations where quick engagement in space combat was necessary. The central hangar was now better equipped to handle the new V-wing starfighters and the more specialized Republic ground assault vehicles. Additionally, dorsal launch bays were introduced to allow fighter craft to take off without requiring large external doors to open, making it easier to launch ships directly into battle. The Venator-class Star Destroyer's hangar space evolved over the course of the Clone Wars to meet the changing demands of war. Initially designed for versatility and rapid deployment, the hangar allowed the Republic to effectively launch both spacecraft and ground forces. Over time, modifications shifted the focus toward enhanced combat efficiency and increased firepower, resulting in a more streamlined design that sacrificed some of its earlier flexibility in favor of tactical superiority. Despite these changes, the Venator-class's hangar remained a central component of the ship's operational success, ensuring that it could handle the diverse range of military operations demanded by the Republic's war effort. Whether launching fighters into space or sending ground forces directly into combat, the Venator-class remained a versatile and formidable warship until the end of the Clone Wars. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was designed with two distinct bridges, each serving a specialized function, contributing to the ship's operational efficiency. Positioned high above the ship's main hull, the bridges offered commanding officers an unparalleled panoramic view of the battle. However, this elevated placement also exposed them to potential vulnerabilities, making the bridges critical, yet high-risk areas during combat. The starboard bridge was the primary command center of the Venator-class. This bridge housed the fleet commander and their senior staff, overseeing the ship's tactical operations, coordinating fleet movements, and making key strategic decisions. The port bridge, in contrast, was dedicated primarily to starfighter operations. This bridge controlled the launch, retrieval, and coordination of the Republic's starfighters, providing the crew with the necessary control to manage the high-speed dogfights that were common in space combat. Both bridges were similarly designed with wide panoramic windows at the front, providing officers with clear visual contact with the space around them, allowing them to track enemy ships and respond swiftly to changing battlefield conditions. The windows, though offering excellent visibility, also presented a vulnerability, as they were prone to damage during intense combat. Inside the Venator's bridges, The layout was both practical and symbolic of the hierarchical nature of the Republic's military structure. The interior featured two sunken pits behind the front windows, where additional officers and specialized crew members worked to monitor and operate the ship's systems. Between these pits was a raised walkway, which allowed the senior command staff to oversee operations and quickly move between different parts of the bridge. At the aft of the bridge, a holotable was placed between two sets of blast doors, allowing the crew to conduct tactical meetings, communicate with other ships or fleet commanders, and analyze the status of ongoing operations. The holotable provided a 3D display of the battle, showing the positions of enemy forces, friendly ships, and the status of key systems. This was a critical tool for the ship's crew, enabling them to make quick, data-driven decisions in the heat of battle. Despite the advantages of the bridge's elevated position and wide visibility, the Venator-class's bridges were not without their weaknesses. Due to their raised design, these areas were exposed to enemy fire, making them prime targets during ship-to-ship combat. This vulnerability was a significant drawback, particularly during prolonged engagements where an enemy might target the command center to destabilize the ship's leadership. To counteract this vulnerability, the Venator-class was equipped with reinforced armor around the bridge, but even so, these vital areas required constant attention to ensure their protection during combat. The threat of damage to the bridges was always a risk, and officers had to be prepared to adapt quickly if the bridges were compromised. The bridge design of the Venator-class would go on to influence many later Imperial starships, including the Imperial-class Star Destroyer. The dual bridge configuration, with one bridge dedicated to fleet command and the other to starfighter operations, would become a hallmark of Imperial vessels, emphasizing a strict separation of command duties and operational control. This design would further reinforce the command hierarchy aboard large warships in the Galactic Empire, establishing the control structure that would define the Imperial fleet. In conclusion, the dual bridge system aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer served to enhance operational coordination, offering dedicated spaces for fleet command and starfighter management. Despite the vulnerability of the exposed bridges, their strategic placement and comprehensive command functions made the Venator-class a formidable presence in the Clone Wars. This design laid the groundwork for future Imperial ships, contributing to the enduring legacy of Starship Command in the galaxy. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, while primarily designed for space combat and fleet coordination, also had the capability to perform atmospheric operations, though it was not as specialized in this regard as some other ships, like the Acclamator-class assault ships. The Venator required specialized landing strips for atmospheric landings, often found at dedicated cruiser staging areas, such as those on Coruscant. These landing areas were designed to accommodate the Venator's massive size and weight, ensuring a stable and controlled descent through a planet's atmosphere. This made the Venator somewhat less flexible in terms of ground operations compared to vessels designed with surface landings in mind. However, despite its reliance on established infrastructure for landing, the Venator-class was not without its own adaptability. During certain planetary operations, such as the Battle of Kashyyyk, the Venator demonstrated its ability to perform surface landings on natural terrain, albeit under more extreme conditions. During this battle, a Venator-class ship successfully touched down at the city of Kachirho, allowing for the deployment of Republic ground forces to support the Wookiees in their defense against the Separatist invasion. This operation showcased the Venator's adaptability, even in less than ideal circumstances, by providing direct support for ground combat, despite its primary role as a warship in space. Additionally, the Venator-class was equipped with retro-rockets, which could be deployed during atmospheric entries and landings. These rockets were designed to provide the necessary thrust to slow the ship's descent and ensure a controlled landing, providing additional safety when entering a planet's atmosphere or making a soft landing on solid ground. While these features were not the Venator-class's primary focus, they highlighted the ship's multi-role versatility, capable of shifting from space combat to planetary operations when necessary, making it a crucial asset in the Republic's fleet during the Clone Wars. The Venator-class Star Destroyer stood as a formidable presence in the galaxy, measuring between 1,137 and 1,155 meters in length, with a wingspan of 548 meters and a towering height of 268 meters. This massive ship was designed to serve as both a warship and a command vessel for the Republic Navy, with its formidable size reflecting its immense power and versatility. Powerful deflector shields protected the ship from enemy fire, offering a level of defense comparable to that of the Victory-class Star Destroyer, ensuring that the Venator-class could endure sustained fire during fierce engagements. Its hull armor plating provided additional resilience, allowing it to survive the rigors of battle with greater durability than many other capital ships of its time. To complement its sturdy defenses, the Venator-class was equipped with an advanced suite of sensor systems, including a hyperwave comm scanner that facilitated long-range communication and detection. This capability was crucial for coordinating fleet actions and maintaining situational awareness during deep space operations. Additionally, the ship was outfitted with sophisticated targeting sensors, enabling it to engage enemies with precision, even at great distances. This was particularly important in the vastness of space, where accurate targeting was essential for the success of its numerous weapons systems. The Venator-class also boasted a navigation system, anchored by a highly effective navigation computer, ensuring the vessel could traverse vast distances with speed and accuracy. Its ability to chart courses through space was a key feature in its role as a command ship, capable of coordinating large-scale fleet movements and executing complex battle strategies. In terms of logistical support, the Venator-class had a cargo capacity of 20,000 tons, sufficient to carry a wide variety of supplies, from munitions to equipment for ground forces. Its consumables were designed for long-term operations, with provisions that could last for 2 years, ensuring that the ship could operate independently for extended missions away from supply lines. This self-sufficiency made the Venator-class a key asset in Republic military campaigns, whether in space battles or planetary operations, giving it the endurance and versatility needed to maintain a prolonged presence in hostile environments. Overall, the Venator-class Star Destroyer was a masterfully designed vessel that balanced powerful firepower, strong defenses, and excellent logistical support, making it a vital component of the Republic's fleet during the Clone Wars. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was a massive, complex vessel requiring an equally capable crew to operate its vast array of systems and weaponry, as well as manage its extensive operations during large-scale military campaigns. Typically, a Venator-class Star Destroyer carried a crew of 7,400 personnel, encompassing a wide range of specialized roles and responsibilities, from high-ranking officers to enlisted personnel, and including a significant number of pilots to operate the numerous starfighters and other vehicles aboard. The crew was the backbone of the Venator-class, ensuring its smooth operation and effectiveness as both a command ship and a war vessel. The officers aboard a Venator-class Star Destroyer held a critical role in commanding the various divisions within the ship and overseeing the overall strategy during battle. These officers typically reported directly to the commanding officer, often a senior figure within the Republic Navy, with the highest rank being that of a fleet admiral or captain. The Venator-class had 2 main bridges: the starboard bridge, which was primarily dedicated to fleet command, and the port bridge, which was responsible for overseeing starfighter operations. Officers in these positions ensured that every part of the ship, from the weapons systems to the internal operations, was functioning at peak efficiency. An essential component of the Venator-class was its starfighter complement. Pilots were responsible for the operation of the vessel's large number of Republic starfighters, including V-19 Torrents and ARC-170s. These pilots were highly trained in space combat tactics and performed key missions ranging from dogfights with separatist fighters to bombing runs against larger enemy vessels or ground targets. The Venator's hangar space was designed to accommodate a large number of starfighters, and these pilots would be stationed either on the starboard bridge for fleet coordination or directly within the hangar control room to assist with launch operations. Given the high demand for coordinated fighter movements, these pilots had to be incredibly efficient in both independent and group missions. The bulk of the Venator-class's crew consisted of enlisted personnel who managed the day-to-day operations of the ship. These included technicians, communications officers, engineers, and support staff. The engineering crew was essential for maintaining the ship's complex reactor systems, including the main reactor, subsidiary reactors, and auxiliary power systems. They ensured the ship's systems were running smoothly, from the hyperdrive engines to the point defense laser cannons. The communications officers were tasked with maintaining the hyperwave comm scanners, ensuring clear communication between the ship, the fleet, and command structures throughout space. The medical personnel, such as combat medics, were also stationed aboard, ensuring that any injuries sustained during battle, both to crew members and potentially to ground troops, were treated quickly. The Venator-class ship was equipped with numerous medical bays and treatment facilities, often capable of handling the injuries sustained in extended space warfare and the Clone Wars. Additionally, a Venator-class would be staffed with logistical officers overseeing supplies, cooks, quartermasters, and maintenance crews to keep everything running smoothly. The latter would ensure the ship's many systems were maintained, from weapons and engines to life support systems and environmental controls, which were vital for maintaining long-term operational capacity. In addition to the large crew, the Venator-class could also carry a substantial number of passengers, typically soldiers of the Republic Army or Clone Army. A Venator-class Star Destroyer could accommodate up to 2,000 troops, which were usually clone troopers stationed aboard for rapid deployment during planetary invasions or battlefield engagements. These soldiers would be housed in specialized quarters, often in the lower sections of the ship, where they had access to their equipment and were prepared for swift deployment. The troops were typically deployed in drop pods or landing crafts from the Venator-class's massive hangar bay, which was designed to launch multiple assault craft simultaneously, delivering troops quickly to the ground in the heat of battle. The troops included clone troopers, clone commandos, and other specialized units, and their primary task was to engage in combat operations on the surface of enemy planets. The Venator-class was specifically designed to support these ground troops through orbital bombardment and air superiority, with its powerful weaponry and starfighter support, ensuring that troops could be deployed effectively and protected from enemy air forces or space threats. Many of the Venator-class's troop deployment strategies involved aerial assaults supported by gunships, including the Republic gunship and LAATI, low-altitude assault transport craft, which could rapidly deploy troops and provide air cover during the invasion of enemy-held planets. Within the Venator-class, the command structure was highly hierarchical, reflecting the strict military discipline that governed the Republic Navy. The commanding officer oversaw all operations of the vessel, but was supported by officers responsible for specialized tasks, including communications, engineering, navigation, and intelligence. The officers on the port bridge, dedicated to starfighter operations, coordinated the deployment of fighters and bombers, while those on the starboard bridge would manage fleet tactics and broader military maneuvers. The command stations aboard the Venator-class were central to ensuring smooth communication between the ship and the rest of the fleet, and to coordinating the deployment of troops during an engagement. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was designed to be a formidable and versatile warship capable of deploying and supporting a wide array of spacecraft and ground vehicles, making it a key asset for the Republic Navy during the Clone Wars. Its massive size, coupled with its well-equipped hangar bays, allowed it to carry a large and diverse complement of starships, ground forces, and vehicles, all crucial for both space superiority and planetary assault operations. Starfighters. The Venator-class was equipped to carry a wide range of starfighters, with its primary role being to ensure space superiority and to support both offensive and defensive operations against enemy starfighters, capital ships, and planetary targets. The ship's hangar bays could house up to 92 starfighters in various configurations, allowing for a well-rounded and flexible offensive force. Some of the starfighters in its complement were: the V-wing starfighters were used primarily for intercepting enemy craft and providing space superiority in close-range dogfights. Their design featured swept-back wings and a relatively lightweight frame, making them highly maneuverable. The Venator-class often carried a large number of these ships, ideal for quick engagements and as a defensive screen against smaller ships. The V-19 Torrent was a versatile fighter known for its balance between offensive firepower and maneuverability. These starfighters were designed to excel in dogfights and could engage enemy starfighters or assist in larger fleet engagements. They were typically equipped with blasters and laser cannons, making them formidable in sustained combat. The ETA-2 Actis-class interceptors were fast, agile fighters favored by the Jedi for their speed and ability to engage in dogfights. The Venator-class often deployed these highly maneuverable interceptors for scouting, close combat, and for attacking enemy fighters or bombers. Their high-speed capabilities made them ideal for quick strikes and intercepting enemy movements. The ARC-170 was a heavy-duty starfighter bomber that could engage in both fighter combat and bombing runs against larger targets. It was a multi-role starfighter designed for longer missions, featuring 2 rear-facing seats and heavy armor. These starfighters were essential for attacking large enemy capital ships or heavily defended ground targets. The Y-wing starfighter, often used for bombing missions, could be deployed against both capital ships and enemy defenses. Its design prioritized bombing capabilities, allowing it to deliver powerful payloads in deep strikes. The Venator-class Star Destroyer's hangars frequently carried these bombers for long-range strikes against significant enemy targets. The Z-95 Headhunters were reliable, if somewhat outdated, starfighter models used by the Republic. While they were not as advanced as other ships in the Venator-class's complement, they were still versatile and could be used for a variety of missions, including reconnaissance and close-range dogfights. These starfighters served as a cost-effective option for bolstering the ship's starfighter forces. The Delta-7B Ether Sprite class was another high-performance interceptor used primarily by Jedi pilots during the Clone Wars. These interceptors excelled in maneuverability and speed, making them perfect for quick-response missions and skirmishes. While often piloted by Jedi Knights, they were also part of the Venator-class Star Destroyer's starfighter complement, providing highly skilled pilots for key operations. In addition to its starfighter fleet, the Venator-class Star Destroyer carried a wide variety of supporting vehicles and ground troops, ensuring its role as a highly versatile ship for both space and planetary combat. Some of the most significant additions to the Venator's complement included the LAATI, Low Altitude Assault Transport Infantry, was a highly versatile gunship used for troop deployment and air support during planetary assaults. The Venator-class could carry 20 to 40 of these gunships, which were capable of rapid troop transport, fire support, and even airborne assaults during ground engagements. These gunships were pivotal in deploying clone troopers and providing air support during battles, allowing the Republic to take control of key ground positions. The Venator-class also carried a number of all-terrain tactical enforcers, ATTEs, and other heavy military walkers. These walkers were designed for ground combat, providing heavy fire support and troop mobility in the field. With up to 24 walkers on board, the Venator-class could deploy ground forces swiftly and provide powerful support for infantry units during planetary invasions. The Venator-class carried a variety of shuttles and support craft, which included supply vessels, transport shuttles, and repair drones. These shuttles were crucial for logistics, providing essential support such as replenishing supplies, evacuating injured personnel, and performing various auxiliary tasks during both space and planetary operations. The Venator-class Star Destroyer played a critical role within the Republic Navy during the Clone Wars, serving not only as a flagship for the Republic Starfleet, but also as a highly versatile vessel capable of performing a variety of roles in both space and planetary warfare. Its design, which combined powerful firepower with a robust complement of starfighters and ground support capabilities, made it a formidable force in various operational contexts. As a medium-weight warship, the Venator-class was built to fulfill a wide array of tactical roles. Its size and firepower made it a force to be reckoned with in ship-to-ship combat, where it could engage enemy capital ships and provide heavy support to Republic forces. Its combination of heavy turbolasers, ion cannons, and point defense systems allowed it to dominate the battlefield, whether in deep space engagements or while defending critical Republic assets. However, what truly set the Venator apart was its adaptability. This multi-role functionality was the foundation of its design, enabling it to shift between combat and support roles as needed. One of the Venator-class's most defining features was its massive starfighter complement. The ship's hangar bays, capable of housing up to 92 starfighters, made it a starfighter carrier. This allowed the Venator to not only support space superiority operations, but also to carry out offensive strikes and defensive missions. The wide variety of starships carried by the Venator, ranging from interceptors like the Eta-2 Actis class to bombers like the Y-wing, ensured that it could adapt to almost any combat scenario. Additionally, This role allowed the Venator to act as an escort vessel for other capital ships, protecting them from enemy starfighters and engaging in long-range dogfights to ensure air superiority. Beyond its primary combat capabilities, the Venator-class also served as a military transport. Its spacious interior, equipped with hangars, transport shuttles, and storage spaces, allowed it to carry and deploy large numbers of clone troopers and military vehicles. This capacity made the Venator an essential part of the Republic's planetary invasion strategy. Whether dropping troops directly onto a battlefield using LLAATI gunships, or deploying heavy walkers like the ATTE, the Venator played a pivotal role in ground combat during large-scale assaults, such as those seen on Kashyyyk and Geonosis. The Venator-class was also capable of serving as an escort for other, larger capital ships, providing defensive support and ensuring that Republic fleet operations were protected from enemy starfighters and smaller vessels. Its strong deflector shields and point defense weaponry made it highly effective in this role, especially when tasked with defending more vulnerable ships. As a command ship, the Venator-class was equipped with a comprehensive command and control system, which allowed it to coordinate large fleet actions and planetary invasions. The presence of multiple bridges, including the primary starboard bridge for general command and a secondary port bridge for starfighters, ensured that fleet operations could be conducted seamlessly. Its sensor suite, navigation systems, and communications facilities made it a vital asset for overseeing strategic operations, with commanders able to direct both space-based and ground forces from a single vessel. While the Venator-class was capable of a variety of roles, it never lost its primary function as an attack cruiser. Equipped with a potent arsenal of heavy turbolasers, ion cannons, and torpedo launchers, it could take on enemy capital ships, provide fire support for ground forces, and eliminate enemy defenses during fleet engagements. The Venator's combination of offensive firepower, defensive shielding, and versatile deployment capabilities made it a versatile attack platform that could easily adapt to different tactical environments. Its adaptability allowed it to serve as the backbone of Republic fleets, engaging in both strategic assaults and defensive missions with equal efficacy. In addition to its role in combat, the Venator-class could function as a replenishment and supply vessel. Its cargo hold, capable of carrying 20,000 tons of materials, made it an essential part of fleet logistics. The Venator-class could resupply other vessels, transport ammunition, fuel, and parts, and serve as a mobile repair station during extended campaigns. Its capacity to support long-term fleet operations meant that it was crucial for maintaining the Republic's military presence in distant theaters of war, providing logistical support during extended engagements. The Venator-class Star Destroyer was designed as a key military asset for the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars, intended to serve as a versatile, multi-role capital ship capable of fulfilling a variety of combat and support roles. The design of this vessel was spearheaded by Lyra Wessex, an influential ship designer whose expertise shaped the Venator's blend of heavy firepower, extensive starfighter complement, and strategic flexibility. The Venator-class was not created in isolation. Its design drew on lessons learned from earlier warships, including those used during the Mandalorian Wars against the Republic thousands of years prior to the Clone Wars. One notable influence was a class of warships from the Mandalorian Neo-Crusader fleet, which exhibited similar characteristics, including heavy firepower, and a focus on both space superiority and ground assault capabilities. This long lineage of design, combined with insights gained during earlier conflicts, resulted in a ship that balanced offensive strength with versatility. By the time of the Stark Hyperspace War, early versions of ships that would later evolve into the Venator-class had already been seen in the fleet of the Outland Region Security Force. This precursor to the Venator-class featured some of the same basic design elements, but was ultimately destroyed when the Navicomputer virus caused a ship to emerge from hyperspace within the deadly proximity of a star. The construction of the Venator-class was a monumental effort, spearheaded by the prestigious Kuat Drive Yards, a company with a long history of building warships for the Galactic Republic. Kuat was the primary manufacturer responsible for building the bulk of Venator-class Star Destroyers during the Clone Wars, making use of its advanced shipyards to craft the immense ships. In addition to Kuat, Corellian shipyards also played a role in the production of the Venator-class, particularly as the Empire's reach expanded following the Clone Wars. This involvement from Corellian reflects the strategic importance of Venator-class vessels, which remained in service well into the Imperial era. Each Venator-class Star Destroyer carried a cost of 59 million credits, a significant investment by the Galactic Republic, especially considering the scale and technology packed into the ship. The Venator's construction was intended to ensure the Republic had a fleet capable of projecting power across the galaxy, and its impressive armament, design versatility, and defensive capabilities made it a formidable force during the Clone Wars. In the early stages of the Clone Wars, the Separatists, under the leadership of Count Dooku, sought to seize the planet Christophsis, a key world located on the edge of the Corellian Run. The planet was rich in resources, making it a strategic target for the Separatists, who aimed to disrupt Republic supply lines and establish a foothold in the region. The Republic responded quickly, dispatching a formidable fleet led by Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and Admiral Wolf Yularen to break the Separatist blockade and defend Christophsis. A fleet of 3 Venator-class Star Destroyers, including Resolute, Skywalker's flagship, was dispatched alongside 3 Pelta-class frigates, forming the core of the Republic response. This fleet, while impressive, faced overwhelming odds. The Separatists, commanded by Admiral Trench, had assembled a powerful blockade force of 30 ships, including Munificent-class star frigates, Lucrehulk-class battleships, and other heavy capital ships. The Republic fleet attempted to engage the Separatist forces head-on, but the superior firepower of Trench's fleet and the tactical cunning of the Separatist commander drove the Republic ships back. The Republic forces were forced into a retreat, moving behind the Moon Lysis to regroup and plan their next move. At a critical moment, Obi-Wan Kenobi's Venator-class Star Destroyer, the Negotiator, arrived in the system. The arrival of the Negotiator would prove to be a game-changer for the Republic forces. On board, Kenobi carried a prototype IPV-2C stealth corvette, a stealth ship designed to penetrate enemy blockades and strike at the heart of the enemy's fleet. With the aid of this advanced vessel, Anakin Skywalker launched a daring strike against Admiral Trench's flagship, the Invincible. Using the stealth corvette, Skywalker was able to bypass Trench's defenses, destroy the Invincible, and create a hole in the Separatist blockade. This gave the Republic forces the opportunity to break through and deliver much-needed supplies to the surface, where Senator Bail Organa was coordinating Republic relief efforts. With the Separatist blockade penetrated, the Republic fleet began to launch more attacks against the remaining Separatist ships. Kenobi and Skywalker led the charge, coordinating the movements of the fleet and the Jedi forces on the ground. Skywalker continued his mission to provide supplies to the beleaguered Republic forces on the surface, while the rest of the Republic fleet engaged Trench's remaining ships. During the conflict, the Jedi Council recognized the need for additional reinforcements on the ground. To further assist in breaking the Separatist stranglehold, Admiral Yularen was dispatched aboard a Venator-class Star Destroyer to penetrate the Separatist blockade once again and deliver Padawan Ahsoka Tano to the surface to assist with the Republic's ground operations. As the Republic force moved into position, it faced the threat of more Separatist capital ships, particularly Munificent-class star frigates. On the return journey from the surface, the Venator commanded by Yularen encountered 3 Munificent-class star frigates. In a tense engagement, the Venator-class ship was able to outmaneuver the Separatists, allowing the Republic fleet to withdraw and regroup. In the final stages of the battle, the Republic launched one last push to defeat the Separatist forces. Jedi Master Yoda arrived in the Christophsis system aboard the Resolute, joining Admiral Yularen and the Resolute to lead a coordinated assault. Yularen commanded a fleet consisting of 2 additional Venator-class Star Destroyers and 4 Acclamator-class assault ships, the latter of which were capable of landing troops and engaging in ground combat. Together, this force engaged the remaining Separatist fleet, forcing them to retreat. With the Separatist blockade broken, the Acclamator-class ships were able to land on the surface of Christophsis, deploying clone troopers to secure critical positions and bolster the Republic's defenses. The Separatists were pushed off the planet, securing a hard-fought victory for the Republic. Following the victory at Christophsis, the 501st Legion, under Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano, was dispatched on a mission to rescue Rota, the son of the Hutt Jabba Desilejich Ture, from the Biomar Order Monastery on the desert planet of Teth. the Republic needed to secure Rada's cooperation to maintain control of the Hutt cartel's territories, which were crucial for the war effort. To support the mission, Admiral Yularen again deployed a Venator-class star destroyer, which transported Kenobi and a squadron of clone pilots to engage the Separatist forces stationed on Teth. A confrontation ensued between Republic and Separatist forces, culminating in a duel between the Republic fleet and a Separatist Munificent-class star frigate. During the battle, a Vulture droid launched a suicide attack, damaging the Venator's port rear hangar, which resulted in the deaths of several clone pilots and crew members. Despite this loss, the mission to rescue Rada was ultimately a success. The Republic secured the Hutt's alliance, ensuring their continued control of the crucial trade routes and dealing a significant blow to the Separatists. The Battle of Christophsis thus marked a critical juncture in the Clone Wars, with the Republic successfully defending a vital world and securing crucial victories in both space and on the ground. The Venator-class star destroyers, with their impressive firepower, strategic versatility, and starfighter complement, played a pivotal role in these successes, showcasing the importance of these warships in the Republic's military arsenal. Later in the same year of the Clone Wars, the Separatist Alliance, under the command of Count Dooku, launched a major offensive on the outer rim world of Ryloth. This strategically important planet was vital for the Republic's control over the region, and its loss would grant the Separatists significant leverage in the area. To prevent the planet from falling into Separatist hands, Republic Admiral Dao was tasked with leading a defense of Ryloth, commanding a fleet that included 2 Venator-class star destroyers. At the time of the battle, Jedi General Emagun D and the Outer Rim garrison were stationed on Ryloth, but they faced the overwhelming might of the Separatist fleet. The Separatists, led by Admiral Trench and backed by several Lucre Hulk-class battleships and Munificent-class star frigates, launched a sustained attack on the Republic defenses. The Venator-class star destroyers under Admiral Dao's command were positioned as the backbone of the defense, with their advanced weaponry and starfighter complement providing support for the Jedi forces on the surface. However, the Republic fleet's resources began to dwindle as the battle wore on. The Venators were under heavy fire from the Separatist blockade, and despite their advanced capabilities, they struggled to maintain their defensive posture. The Separatist fleet's larger numbers and sustained assaults took their toll. Eventually, Admiral Dao's fleet was overwhelmed, leading to its destruction. The fleet's loss was a significant blow to the Republic, and according to Master Mace Windu, the situation became dire. The Republic's position on Ryloth was rapidly deteriorating. In the face of Republic defeat, a daring relief operation took place. Due to the inability of the Republic fleet to safely transport supplies, neutral Toydaria became the center of the smuggling effort. Pro-Republic resistance fighters on Ryloth managed to receive illicitly delivered relief supplies, which helped sustain their fight against the Separatist occupation. This marked a critical moment in the battle for Ryloth, as the pro-Republic forces were bolstered, despite the ongoing blockade. Meanwhile, Master Yoda was dispatched to negotiate a critical alliance with the neutral moon of Rugosa in an effort to solidify a Republic base on the nearby world of Toydaria. King Katunko, the ruler of Toydaria, was a key figure in this diplomatic mission, as the Republic sought to gain his support in the fight against the Separatists. However, as Master Yoda attempted to secure this alliance, he was ambushed by the dark acolyte Asajj Ventress, who had been dispatched by Count Dooku to thwart the Republic's plans. Ventress, leading a battalion of droids, engaged Yoda and his forces in a brutal confrontation. Despite the overwhelming number of enemies, Yoda, with the help of his allies, managed to defeat Ventress's droid battalion. In the wake of the battle, King Katunko agreed to lend his support to the Republic's cause, and the alliance was solidified. With the diplomatic mission successful, Yoda's Consular-class cruiser, along with 2 other Jedi cruisers, made its way back to Coruscant. The Grand Master traveled aboard one of the Venator-class star destroyers, which provided the protection needed to safely return to the heart of the Republic, bringing the news of their success. The Battle of Ryloth ultimately ended with the Republic's victory, though at significant cost. Despite the destruction of Admiral Dao's fleet and the heavy losses sustained, the support of neutral planets such as Toydaria allowed the Republic to maintain its foothold in the Outer Rim. The Venator-class star destroyers once again played a crucial role in the battle, both in space and in providing protection to key diplomatic efforts. The presence of the Venator-class ships as powerful multi-role warships capable of engaging in both ship-to-ship combat and troop transport, proved vital in securing Republic interests across the galaxy. As the war continued to rage on, the importance of these ships would only grow, serving as symbols of the Republic's strength and resilience in the face of ever-increasing threats from the Separatists. In 22 BBY, the Separatist alliance escalated its war efforts with a focused assault on the Republic's Starfleet, spearheaded by the infamous General Grievous and his flagship, the Malevolence, a formidable subjugator-class heavy cruiser equipped with 2 mega-ion cannons capable of disabling the entire systems of Republic ships with a single shot. These cannons, with their incredible destructive power, made the Malevolence a terror to the Republic's fleet. And Grievous's campaign was designed to cripple the Republic's naval presence and establish Separatist dominance in space. The Battle of the Pooh system marked the first significant engagement between the Malevolence and the Republic fleet. Jedi Master Ares Nuni, commanding a task force of 3 Venator-class star destroyers, faced off against the Malevolence. However, the Republic fleet was no match for Grievous's powerful ion cannons. The Malevolence's devastating attacks easily incapacitated the Venator fleet, destroying all 3 vessels, including the flagship Triumphant. The event was a significant blow to the Republic Navy, as the loss of such a force left the Republic vulnerable to further attacks. In response to the growing threat, Jedi Master Plo Koon was dispatched with a new fleet of 3 Venators to the Abrigado system in an effort to intercept and defeat the Malevolence before it could strike again. However, Grievous continued to show the overwhelming power of his ship, successfully using the Malevolence's port ion cannon to disable and destroy the Venator fleet, including Plo Koon's flagship. Despite the crushing losses, the Republic fleet was not idle. Master Mace Windu, in a move to safeguard the Republic's convoys, ordered a redeployment of all battle groups to convoy escort duties. This new strategy saw the Negotiator, a Venator-class star destroyer under the command of Obi-Wan Kenobi, positioned in a defensive formation with another Venator and several Acclamator-class assault ships near the Bith system, with the task of protecting vital Republic convoys from further attack. At the same time, Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano embarked on an unsanctioned mission to rescue Master Plo Koon and uncover the secrets behind the Malevolence's destructive weapon. Their investigation revealed key information about the Malevolence's weapons systems, which would prove vital in the upcoming battles. Later, at the Battle of the Rindelia system, the Malevolence once again demonstrated its devastating power, destroying a Republic medical convoy consisting of 1 Venator-class star destroyer and 3 Pelta-class frigates. This attack led the Republic to predict that Grievous would next target the Khalida Shoals Medical Center, a vital medical facility crucial to the Republic's war efforts. To prevent the destruction of the medical center, the Galactic Senate authorized a military strike against the Malevolence. The Republic fleet, led by Obi-Wan Kenobi, devised a plan to counter Grievous's assault. Kenobi's flagship, the Negotiator, along with the Resolute and a 3rd Venator-class star destroyer, were assigned to escort a strike team of Shadow Squadron, consisting of Y-wing bombers, to disable the Malevolence's ion cannons. The Y-wings, housed aboard the Resolute, would be launched to incapacitate the Malevolence's ion cannons, thus preventing the vessel from disabling the Republic fleet. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker would lead a squadron through the Khalida Nebula, a shortcut to intercept the Malevolence and engage it directly. After the Y-wing successfully disabled the ion cannons and saved the Khalida Shoals Medical Center, Kenobi, with his 3 Venators in tow, initiated a pursuit of the Malevolence. However, despite the sheer firepower of the Venator-class star destroyers, their attacks could not destroy the heavily armed Subjugator-class cruiser. Instead, the Malevolence's fate was sealed by an unexpected turn of events. The Malevolence, during its retreat, made an erroneous hyperspace jump that led it directly into the dead moon of Antar, where it collided with the moon, causing a catastrophic explosion that destroyed the massive warship. The accidental crash was made possible by a Jedi boarding action, in which Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano successfully sabotaged the Malevolence's Navy computer, causing the ship's navigation systems to malfunction and leading it to its ultimate destruction. After the Malevolence campaign, Republic starfighters under the command of Anakin Skywalker successfully eliminated a Separatist fighter unit in the Corvair sector, securing Republic space from further incursions. However, their operations did not end there. Soon after, Admiral Wolf Yularen and Skywalker planned a strategic mission aboard the Resolute, targeting a droid foundry on the moon Kudo 3. This factory was a crucial asset to the Separatist Alliance, producing droids that supported their war efforts, and neutralizing it would be a significant blow to the enemy. Yularen, ever the tactician, recommended an aerial strike to destroy the foundry from a safe distance, minimizing risks. However, Skywalker chose to personally scout the location before making a decision. Upon landing on Kudo 3, Skywalker discovered that the factory was not only producing war machines, but was also using enslaved laborers who were forced to work under harsh conditions. The sight of these oppressed workers drove Skywalker to act, as he saw an opportunity to rescue the captives and avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Skywalker's actions were swift. He freed the laborers and ensured that they were safely evacuated before returning to the Resolute. His decision to approach the situation with compassion and restraint averted what could have been a violent confrontation, and instead, a humanitarian mission was completed without further loss of life. Shortly after the Kudo threat operation, the Republic fleet, under the leadership of Skywalker and Admiral Yularen, was tasked with patrolling a quadrant of space to protect Kamino from potential Separatist threats, particularly from the forces of General Grievous. Kamino, the planet known for its cloning facilities, was critical to the Republic's war effort, and any disruption of its operations could have dire consequences. At the same time, Rishi Station, a Republic outpost on the Rishi moon, came under attack by Separatist commando droids. These droids had cleverly hacked the station's communication systems and issued a false all-clear signal, which hid the approach of General Grievous's fleet. The clone officers stationed at Rishi Station, along with the surviving clones, realized the deception and fought to retake the station. After a fierce battle, they managed to destroy the communication systems responsible for the false signal, alerting the Republic fleet to the impending threat. Once Skywalker and Kenobi were notified, they swiftly moved their fleets, including 6 Venator-class star destroyers, into the Rishi system to confront Grievous's forces. Grievous, recognizing the strength of the Republic's fleet, initially believed he was outgunned. Faced with such overwhelming numbers, he ordered a retreat, narrowly escaping with his fleet intact. The brief setback did not deter General Grievous for long. He soon launched a new offensive, first defeating a Republic battle group stationed at Feline, and then pushing towards the planet Bothawui, a key location in the Outer Rim. The Republic, however, had anticipated Grievous's movements and was ready to respond. At Bothawui, Skywalker and Yularen led a Republic task force, which included the Resolute and 2 other Venator-class star destroyers, into a strategic engagement. The fleet lured Grievous's 6 Munificent-class star frigates into the Firv-Sadra asteroid belt, a region notorious for its treacherous terrain. This gave the Republic forces a perfect opportunity to set a trap. Hidden within the asteroid field were ATTE walkers, which, along with the firepower of the Venators, unleashed devastating attacks on the Separatist fleet. Grievous's vessels were systematically destroyed by the combined fire from the Republic fleet and the hidden ATTEs, forcing Grievous to abandon the battle and flee in his personal fighter. The Republic victory was decisive, dealing a heavy blow to the Separatist forces. The final phase of this campaign saw Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, and Republic clone troops infiltrating and destroying a Separatist listening post at Skytop Station, located on a high-altitude facility in a remote area. This listening post was critical to the Separatists' intelligence network, and eliminating it would severely disrupt their communications and military coordination. The mission was a dangerous one, requiring careful stealth and precision. The clones and Jedi worked in tandem, infiltrating the facility and eliminating the Separatist forces within. Once the post was neutralized, the Republic achieved a significant victory, further weakening the Separatist Alliance's strategic operations in the Outer Rim. With the destruction of Grievous's fleet, the collapse of the Separatist intelligence network, and the successful defense of key Republic assets, the Republic secured an important series of victories in the war. However, General Grievous, though defeated, remained a constant threat, and the Republic knew that the war was far from over. The battle above Quell marked a significant and tragic chapter for the Republic during the Clone Wars. Jedi General Aayla Secura, commanding a task force of 3 Venator-class star destroyers, was dispatched to engage a Separatist fleet near the planet Quell. Her fleet faced an overwhelming force of at least 5 Munificent-class star frigates, a core part of the Separatist Navy. Despite the Venators' firepower and maneuverability, The situation quickly became desperate as Secura's forces were outnumbered and outgunned. In response to the dire situation, Admiral Wolf Yularen, aboard the Resolute, along with Anakin Skywalker, was ordered to intervene and rescue Secura. However, the battle proved too much for the Republic fleet. Despite valiant efforts to defend Secura's flagship, the Liberty, all three of Secura's Venators were destroyed by the superior Separatist forces. The battle ended in a Separatist victory, and the Republic was forced to retreat. During the chaotic retreat, the Consular-class cruiser carrying Secura and her rescuers made a miscalculated hyperspace jump, resulting in an unintended arrival in the Meridian system instead of their intended destination. This misstep set the stage for another critical mission, as Secura and her forces were stranded on Meridian, now facing a new challenge. On Meridian, Secura, along with Jedi forces, was tasked with defending a Lurman village from an advancing Separatist force, led by the notorious weapons designer, Lok Durd. The Separatists aimed to use the planet as a strategic foothold, but the Jedi defended the village valiantly. Soon after, Yularen and his fleet of 3 Venators arrived to reinforce the Republic forces, effectively neutralizing the Separatist threat on Meridian and securing the planet for the Republic. This marked a slight redemption after the devastating loss at Quell. The Storm over Ryloth campaign was one of the pivotal battles in the Outer Rim territories during the Clone Wars, where the Republic launched an offensive to retake the planet Ryloth from the Separatist alliance. The planetary blockade, established by the Separatists, had prevented the Republic from reinforcing the Twi'lek resistance on the surface, and the Republic's fleet was determined to break the blockade and liberate the planet. Admiral Yularen, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano led a fleet of 3 Venator-class star destroyers, the Resolute, Defender, and Redeemer, to engage Captain Martuk's Separatist forces in orbit. The Republic fleet was initially confident, but the situation quickly took a turn for the worse. As they attempted to break the blockade, the Separatists reinforced their position with 4 Munificent-class frigates, throwing the Republic fleet into disarray. Despite the odds, Skywalker and Yularen pressed the attack. However, the Republic forces were surprised and outmaneuvered, forcing the fleet into a tactical withdrawal. During this chaotic retreat, a Vulture droid rammed the Resolute's bridge, severely injuring Admiral Yularen. The Redeemer, unable to escape, was destroyed in space by a barrage of enemy fire, its crew lost in the ensuing explosion. The Resolute and Defender managed to retreat, but the damage had already been done. Despite the devastating losses, Skywalker received orders from Masters Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi to continue the attack, despite the immense casualties. The Defender was badly damaged and on fire, and Skywalker devised a daring strategy to strike back at the Separatists. He would ram the Defender into Tuk's Lucrehulk, while Ahsoka Tano, with the Resolute, would engage the remaining Separatist fleet using a Marg Sable tactic, a flanking maneuver that would allow the Republic fleet to outmaneuver the Separatists. The plan was successful. The Defender rammed into the Separatist Lucrehulk, causing massive damage and crippling the enemy flagship. Meanwhile, Tano and the Resolute used the Marg Sable tactic to destroy the remaining Munificent-class frigates, effectively neutralizing the Separatist fleet in the system. With the Separatists in retreat, the Republic invasion fleet was able to land on Ryloth and liberate the planet. The Republic ground forces, including clone troopers and the Twi'lek resistance, successfully pushed the Separatist forces off the planet, culminating in a Republic victory. The battle was a significant step in the Republic's effort to reclaim the Outer Rim, and demonstrated the resilience of the Republic fleet and its Jedi leadership, despite the tremendous sacrifices. The First Battle of Felucia was a pivotal moment during the Clone Wars, where Jedi Master Plo Koon and his fleet of 3 Venator-class star destroyers faced off against a Separatist blockade surrounding the planet Felucia. The Separatists sought to prevent the Republic from reinforcing the planet's surface, where Republic forces were engaged in intense ground combat against Separatist troops. Koon's fleet bravely entered the blockade, engaging the enemy forces in a fierce skirmish. The Venator fleet was able to quickly gain the upper hand, managing to destroy 1 Munificent-class star frigate and damage a second. With the blockade broken, Koon's fighters and gunships were able to penetrate the Separatist defenses and reach the surface. They successfully evacuated the stranded Republic troops on Felucia, ensuring their safe withdrawal from the hostile planet. The battle showcased the Venator's formidable firepower and versatility in both space combat and planetary support missions. After the events on Felucia, Cad Bane, a notorious bounty hunter, orchestrated a daring infiltration of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where he stole a valuable Jedi holocron. This holocron, which contained sensitive information about Jedi secrets and Force-sensitive children, became Bane's primary objective. Seeking to unlock the holocron's secrets, Bane led a separatist attack on Jedi Master Bala Ropal on the planet Deveron. In response to the threat, Admiral Wolf Yularen deployed the Resolute to the Deveron system to neutralize Bane's forces. The Venator-class Star Destroyer, along with its fleet, engaged Bane's separatist forces, destroying 4 Munificent-class star frigates and severely damaging Bane's flagship. During the battle, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, and a group of clones boarded Bane's ship in an attempt to rescue Master Ropal. Unfortunately, despite their best efforts, Ropal was fatally electrocuted by Bane's traps before the Jedi could intervene. During the ensuing skirmish, Bane managed to escape, but not before the Munificent-class frigate was destroyed, and the Republic forces successfully reclaimed their position in the system. Bane, disguised as a clone, was able to escape with the holocron aboard the Resolute. Once aboard the Resolute, Bane's escape was far from over. Bane managed to steal a parked V-19 Torrent starfighter and the Silur 31 ring, fleeing the Republic ship and disappearing into hyperspace. His goal was to use the holocron's information to kidnap Force-sensitive children, which he did on the planets Glee Anselm and Rhodia, intending to deliver them to Darth Sidious for sinister experiments. Eventually, Bane was apprehended on Naboo, where he was captured by the Jedi and transferred back to the Resolute for interrogation. Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi oversaw the process, and Bane, under close guard, was taken to Blackstall Station. There, the Jedi successfully recovered the holocron, but not before Bane managed to escape once more, this time with the help of his Rogue-class starfighter. Upon analyzing Bane's Rogue-class starfighter aboard the Resolute, Skywalker and Tano tracked him to the planet Mustafar, where they executed a daring rescue mission. They succeeded in rescuing the kidnapped children before Bane could hand them over to Sidious. The mission was a success, but Bane's escape and the holocron's eventual recovery underscored the continued threat he posed to the Republic and the Jedi. This series of events highlighted not only the Resolute's pivotal role in the pursuit of Bane, but also the constant threats the Jedi faced from the dark forces operating within the galaxy, often making the line between the Republic's victories and setbacks razor thin. During the later stages of the Clone Wars, the Galactic Republic held a critical strategy conference in the Carida system, aboard the Valor, an important Republic vessel stationed in orbit above the planet Carida. However, unbeknownst to the Republic, the Separatist Alliance was preparing a deadly strike to disrupt the conference. The Confederacy's plan involved a daring act of sabotage. They intended to bomb the Valor by hijacking a Republic Venator-class Star Destroyer, the Renown, which had been stationed in orbit above the outer rim world of Abafar. The Separatists had already established a mining facility on Abafar to extract a highly volatile starship fuel known as Rhydonium, which they planned to load onto the Renown to transform it into a massive bomb. In a twist of fate, a covert unit of Republic droids known as D-Squad, led by the Zilkan Colonel Mibur Gascon, was assigned a mission to recover valuable data. D-Squad consisted of a group of astromech droids, alongside a single Dumb Series pit droid. While operating on Abafar, the team was rescued by the Renown, under the assumption that the Republic had sent the vessel to extract them. However, upon boarding the Star Destroyer and investigating further, the team discovered that the vessel had been hijacked by the Separatists. As they ventured into the command bridge, they were ambushed by battle droids and narrowly escaped their pursuit. In the hangar bay, the squad discovered a detonator painted with the colors of the Separatist Alliance. This discovery led to the realization that the ship had been transformed into an unassuming bomb. Inside the hangar, thousands of Rhydonium canisters were stacked together, and Colonel Gaskin grimly assessed the situation, stating that the explosive power of the cargo could potentially destroy the entire Republic Navy if detonated. As D-Squad continued to explore the Renown, they encountered a group of Republic droids who had previously served aboard the Star Destroyer. One of these droids, the LEP series service droid BNI-393, revealed the full extent of the Separatists' plot. The The Renown was headed for the Carida system, where the Separatists intended to use the Star Destroyer to bomb the Republic's space station Valor, where the strategy conference was taking place. Realizing the severity of the threat, Colonel Gaskin and the droids took matters into their own hands, determined to prevent the attack. They planned to trigger the Renown's destruction before it reached the Valor. However, the team faced numerous challenges, including a swarm of buzz droids sent by the Separatists to neutralize them. M5BZ, one of D Squad's members, made the ultimate sacrifice by opening an airlock to eject the buzz droids into hyperspace, ensuring the survival of the team but losing his life in the process. After M5BZ's sacrifice, the Renown emerged from hyperspace within the Carida system, with the engines at full power, racing toward the Valor. Just before the Separatist super tactical droid overseeing the operation could initiate the countdown sequence to detonate the Rhydonium, he encountered the astromech droid R2-D2, who had managed to board the ship. In a critical moment, R2-D2 prevented the droid from reaching the detonator, buying enough time for Colonel Gaskin and the squad to trigger the explosion early. The explosion of the Rhydonium canisters on the Renown was catastrophic, creating a massive blast that engulfed the Valor and all the vessels surrounding it. The blast sent debris hurtling through space, destroying an Architens-class light cruiser and damaging the Valor itself. The Carida incident, as it came to be known, was a devastating blow to the Separatists' plans and served as a critical victory for the Republic, though the cost was great. Through their bravery and quick thinking, D Squad successfully thwarted the Separatists' plot to assassinate Republic leaders and cripple their military. However, the operation was a stark reminder of the constant threat posed by the Separatists and the toll the war continued to take on both sides. As the Clone Wars neared their conclusion, the Confederacy of Independent Systems launched a sudden and devastating assault on Coruscant, the capital of the Galactic Republic. This surprise attack was masterminded by Darth Sidious, the true leader of the Separatists, who orchestrated the conflict as part of his broader plan to bring Anakin Skywalker closer to the dark side of the Force. The attack was a critical moment in the war, intended to capture Supreme Chancellor Sheev Palpatine, who had secretly arranged for himself to be kidnapped by General Grievous, the Kaleesh cyborg general leading the Separatist forces. This event set the stage for Anakin's fall and the Republic's eventual collapse. Before the Separatists launched their attack, most of the Republic's fleets, officers, and Jedi generals were engaged in the Outer Rim sieges, a major campaign fought far from the core worlds, including Coruscant. The sieges took place on several planets in the Outer Rim territories, drawing resources and attention away from the Republic's capital. As a result, Coruscant was poorly defended, with the Coruscant Home Defense Fleet, which had seen little action during the war, left to guard the Republic capital. This left the Republic vulnerable, and the Separatists seized the opportunity to launch an unexpected and overwhelming assault on the heart of the Republic. The Separatist fleet, led by Grievous aboard the Invisible Hand, a heavily modified Providence-class dreadnought, launched their surprise attack with over 1,000 starships, including Munificent-class star frigates, Recusant-class light destroyers, and Lucrehulk-class battleships. Despite the Republic's initial confidence that the Separatists would never strike at the core, the Confederacy overwhelmed the Coruscant Home Defense Fleet. The fleet was taken by surprise, and Chancellor Palpatine was captured by Grievous after a harrowing chase through the Federal District of Coruscant. The Republic forces were left in disarray, with Grievous successfully abducting the Chancellor and escaping aboard his flagship. Upon learning of the attack, the Republic swiftly recalled the Open Circle Fleet and Jedi Generals Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker to Coruscant to mount a rescue mission. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Republic fleet, reinforced by the Open Circle Armada, gathered a formidable force, including thousands of Venator-class star destroyers, such as the Roti Mundi, to engage the Separatist fleet. The battle between the two fleets was intense, with hundreds of Vulture droids, droid tri-fighters, and Discord missiles creating chaos in the skies. As the Republic fleet struggled to contain the Separatists' superior numbers, Kenobi and Skywalker took to the air in their personal Eta II Actis-class light interceptors, fighting through waves of enemy fighters and dodging numerous obstacles to reach the Invisible Hand. Despite intense resistance, including an encounter with buzz droids that briefly overwhelmed Obi-Wan's starfighter, the Jedi managed to make their way toward the Separatist flagship. They encountered deflector shields over the hangar bay, forcing Anakin to fire on the shield's vulnerable point to deactivate them. giving the Jedi just enough time to enter the hangar before the blast shields were raised again. Aboard the Invisible Hand, Kenobi and Skywalker confronted Count Dooku, the head of the Separatist Council. They successfully freed Chancellor Palpatine from captivity and engaged in a lightsaber duel with Dooku. The confrontation ended with Anakin Skywalker delivering the fatal blow to Dooku, ending the Sith Lord's life. Despite the Republic's victory in capturing the Chancellor and killing Dooku, the battle was not yet over. Afterward, the Invisible Hand found itself locked in combat with the Venator-class Star Destroyer Guarlara, which had arrived to reinforce the Republic forces. The two ships exchanged heavy turbo-laser fire, with Guarlara delivering a critical blow to the Invisible Hand, causing it to momentarily plummet toward Coruscant before its crew regained control. Despite this setback, Grievous managed to escape in an escape pod, which was later retrieved by the Profusion, a Lucrehulk-class battleship. Though the Battle of Coruscant ended in a victory for the Republic in terms of rescuing the Chancellor and dealing a blow to the Separatists, Grievous's escape foreshadowed further conflict. However, just days later, Obi-Wan Kenobi finally tracked down Grievous on the volcanic world of Mustafar. There, Kenobi confronted the cyborg general and killed him, ending his leadership of the Separatist forces. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker, having already been manipulated by Palpatine, turned to the dark side of the Force, adopting the name Darth Vader. Following Grievous's death, Anakin slaughtered the Separatist Council on Mustafar and ordered the Trade Federation to deactivate all remaining Separatist droids, officially bringing an end to the Clone Wars and marking the fall of the Republic. The Galactic Empire was born, with Palpatine solidifying his control over the galaxy as the Emperor. The Jedi, now seen as traitors, were hunted down, and the Republic's institutions crumbled beneath the weight of the Sith's machinations. After the end of the Clone Wars and the rise of the Galactic Empire, the once popular Venator-class Star Destroyer became a relic of the old Republic Navy, but it was still used in the early years of the Empire. Despite being eclipsed by newer designs such as the Victory-class, the Venator was still deployed in various Imperial operations. Upon the formation of the Empire, the Venator-class ships were stripped of their distinctive Republic markings, removing their colorful insignia and Republic symbols. These ships continued to see use in the Imperial Navy, though they were gradually phased out in favor of the Imperator-class and Tector-class Star Destroyers. The Tarkin Doctrine, which focused on overwhelming firepower and control over systems through sheer might, made the Venator's reliance on starfighters and its design more suited for the Republic's needs than those of the Empire. The Imperial forces, under Emperor Palpatine, sought to distance themselves from the Republic's legacy, leading to the Venator's reduced role. Despite the transition to more robust warships, the Venator was still used for certain roles during the early years of the Empire. At least 2 Venators were involved in a pursuit of the L-4000 smuggler ship Uhumele, alongside Imperial fighter squadrons. In some instances, Venators served as training ships for Imperial pilots, alongside Imperial-class Star Destroyers and captured Lucrehulk-class battleships. A notable example of this was the Vensenor, which became a flight school for new Imperial recruits. Additionally, some Venators were used in Imperial security operations, such as serving as part of the security cordon for the Sanctuary pipeline, which led to the construction of the Death Star II in the Endor system. These ships were also involved in internal security operations and maintaining the Empire's dominance over various sectors. As the Empire's focus shifted away from older ships like the Venator, these vessels were often acquired by fringe groups and private factions, including Imperial Moffs and various militias. These groups used the Venators for their own defense fleets, keeping the ships operational in a galaxy now dominated by the Empire's might. The Mandalorian Supreme Strategist even commanded a Venator Star Destroyer during the early years of the Galactic Civil War, though it was destroyed during an engagement above Mandalore with the Zan Consortium fleet. In the Galactic Civil War, some Venators continued to see use, though their role had diminished significantly by then. For instance, Admiral Dalla's Maw irregular fleet in the years following the fall of the Empire, around 40 to 44 ABY, utilized Venators, though these were becoming increasingly rare. At least 2 Venators also participated in the evacuation of Dak in 137 ABY, during which one ship was even converted into a drone ship with an ion pulse to distract the Sith Imperial fleet. While the Venator-class Star Destroyer eventually faded into obscurity, its legacy lived on in the form of smaller operations, military training, and the legacy of the Republic Navy. Its iconic silhouette was still recognized throughout the galaxy, and remnants of these ships continued to serve various factions even after the fall of the Empire and the rise of new powers. The Venator, though no longer the flagship of the Imperial Navy, remained an enduring symbol of the Republic's former military might and the chaos that followed the Clone Wars.